myself for a sec, but we're good. A muppet is a foolish or incompetent person. You could say, you absolute muppet. You put the milk in the tea before the tea bag. You muppet. You put the milk in before the tea bag. That would be a real muppet thing to do. Second word is plonker. Plonker, 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 plonker. That's someone who's just made a silly mistake or a poor decision. A plonker is not a sustained character trait. It is usually something that you can earn the title of just for doing something dumb or a bit silly. Oh, what a plonker, he just tried to use a fork to eat soup. Oh, what a plonker, he just tried to use a fork to eat soup. A wally. This is a pretty mild one. My mum used to call me this a lot. Well, she still does, because I am still a wally sometimes. It's a bit like a plonker, but it's like a silly or foolish person, often used when they do something like clumsy or thoughtless. A wally. So you could be like, man, I'm trying to think what an example of a wally is. I don't know, like if you're like faffing about, stop being such a wally and help me find my keys. If you're being unhelpful. A pillock. Pillock, 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 pillock. That's a good word for ASMR actually. Pillock, 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 pillock. It's like a clumsy or foolish person. I would say it might rub someone the wrong way if you call him that if you don't know him too well. A pillock. It's like a, so you could say like, oh, I just walked into a glass door like a proper pillock. It's kind of implied that a pillock is a bit of an arsehole as well. Like, that wasn't a great example. It could be a dumb person. It could also be someone who's a bit of a dick at times, like a bit rude, inconsiderate. A dipstick, or I'm trying so hard not to get dinged by YouTube because I swear so much. But a dipshit is another one. I think they're used quite interchangeably. Obviously, if you swear, it's got a stronger connotation. But a dipstick, dipstick. Someone who's being particularly dim or slow. So you could say, I don't know, come on dipstick, it's not rocket science. Like they're not grasping something pretty obvious. A nutter. Someone who's acting silly or slightly crazy. Look at that nutter dancing on the table. I think I'd probably say nutter. But, you know, it's better for ASMR to say nutter, isn't it? That's better than it. Oh, I like this one. A wobbler. Wobbler. It's like someone who loses their cool or gets upset about something very minor and kind of falls apart at the smallest thing. You could say, oh, don't be such a wobbler, I'll buy you another ice cream. That's a wobbler. Crybaby essentially is a wobbler. Fig. Or fig. Fig. Fig describes more of a sustained character trait, unless you're saying like you're being thick. But if you could describe someone as thick, you're implying that they are by nature stupid or slow to understand. A common phrase we would say is he's as thick as two short planks if he thinks that's going to work. Or thick as two planks is a way to describe someone as being really fucking stupid. Next one is a numpty. Numpty. It's like an incompetent or unwise person. Someone who's not very street smart, I suppose, or not in the know about how to do basic things. Numpty. You could say like, don't be such a numpty, you can't charge your phone in the microwave. That's a numpty. Daft. I'm sure you've heard of that one. It's a very pretty self-explanatory. Someone who's not very bright. Obviously, like dim, not bright. Dimwit. What dimwit? Put the empty milk carton back in the fridge. Pea-brain. I don't know if that's like. I'm sure it originally came from the UK, but that one's pretty ubiquitous at this point. I'm pretty sure everyone says that in the English-speaking world. Someone with sort of limited intellectual capacity. Like they're doing their best, but they got just a pea brain. Div. Div. Just D-I-V. Div. It's very casually thrown around, but it just means a stupid person. I don't know. Stop being such a div and come over here and help me. Stop being such a div and read the instructions. Stop being such a div and use your head. Gotcha. Gotcha is an elderly person, an old fogey. I don't know if people still say that, but yeah, it's an old person who's being difficult, or like just has no sense of humour, or just very kind of a curmudgeon-y kind of old person. People who love to complain about kids these days. An old person who likes to complain and is a bit of a stick in the mud. I also have some more modern. Oh shit! Sorry, kick the camera. Stay still. There you go. Some more modern phrases. By modern, I mean like maybe past decade or something. Someone earlier than people like 30 and under maybe would know, or most people would know these, but like they're not really used commonly by people younger than 30, older than 30. A melt if you're posh, but I am not, so I say melt. A melt is someone who's being kind of overly emotional or soft or a bit, fawny over someone. You could say, stop being such a melt over your ex's Instagram post. Stop being such a melt over your ex's Insta post. A waste man. Sorry. Waste man. A waste man. Just someone who's useless or wastes time, or they're all mouth, no trousers. They waste your time. The kind. I'd say like a scrub, probably like the nearest equivalent in the US. He's such a waste man. Never shows up when he says he will. That's a waste man. If you like British like rap or hip hop, waste man at all. Like Stormzy, I think, has a song insulting waste man. Wet. I think it comes from the term wet blanket. But we just say someone's wet. Someone who's like spineless or pathetic. Somebody that doesn't stick up for themselves or other people, and who's easily swayed or doesn't stick up for their values. I'd say, don't be wet. Just ask them out already. Don't be wet. Just ask them out already. Somebody with no courage, no gumption. This is probably the meanest one. I don't know if it comes from the old term for syphilis, but it sounds like it might. It's not that bad, but if you're maybe using it to describe a woman, it's pretty rude, it's pretty sexist, but unfortunate looking. It's more kind of like not innately bad looking, but like something's happened. Like he's clapped. like he is clapped. Like his haircut is absolutely clapped. Like it's fucked up. Shit. What's that? Oh, I thought I wasn't gonna swear. It's too late. But yeah, clapped. You've probably heard of this if you know anything about British slang, but peak means the opposite of what you think it does. It's like something that's like the worst or unfortunate, but like it's bad luck, but it's also like, you know, the worst of bad luck. Like the peak of bad. I don't know. Like, oh, that's peak for you, mate. You get stuck in traffic on your first day. That's the worst. Or like you could be like, oh, peak, as in, you know, just to express your displeasure. Last one is butters. Butters. Just means, yeah, ugly or unattractive. I think it maybe comes from butterface. But yeah, we would say butters. Butters. It can be used to describe a person or an object or a thing. Like that new building in town is proper butters. That's butters. That's the last one I have for that list. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you use these responsibly and have fun using them. Yeah, let me know some unknown slang from your area that most people don't know. I'd love to read that. That sounds funny. Yeah, nothing too mean though. Actually, yeah, be mean is fine. I don't care. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed.